Hey everyone, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be an updated version of the 100 minion build that we previously uploaded. And this one we're going to change things around, and our new defense is going to be getting as much ward as possible. There are times that you can get over 100,000 ward. Actually, you can get it at any time as long as you have the minions alive. And it's good. We went over 200 waves with it, and with that you can get all of that ward that whole time. But once all of your minions start dying, that's when it becomes a problem. You could easily change this by adding some minion dodge into the build, which we didn't do here. That will probably take you a bit farther because they won't die as fast. However, it is mostly a reflect build. We did change to a little bit of Putrid Wrath for poison damage. It can be built several different ways, but the way we have it here, it went 200 waves. You can get 100k ward. You can uphold that 100k ward at all times if you really want. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the skills, and I'll show you some gameplay. For skills, we're going to be running Wandering Spirits, Summon Wrath, Rip Blood, Transplant, and Summon Skeleton. For Wandering Spirits, we're just using these as a backup damage source in case all the minions die. Since these can't be killed but only expire, you'll always have about 20 of them active, and they do decent poison damage. We have 5 in Thin Veil, 4 in Lingering Souls, 3 points in Spirit Swarm, 2 points in Souls of Rage, 1 point in Spectral Putrescence, 3 points in Soul of Filth, and 2 points in Spectral Scorn. For Summon Wrath, we have this set up to get as many of them as possible, so you want as much health as possible, and to get the health decay as slow as possible. We have 2 points in Grave Reality, 4 points in Delay the End, 2 points in Haunting, 1 point in Locus of Resurrection, 2 points in Dark Scythe, 1 point in Echoes Inside, 5 points in Stygian River, and 3 points in Army of Wraths. For Rip Blood, we're using this to get as much ward as possible because we will be manually casting it, so it will work on the minions. But first we start with 1 point in Eviscerate to get blood splatter, 4 points in Crimson Flood to make that blood splatter 100% bigger, 1 point in Hemomancer, 5 points in Quenching for 20 additional health granted on top of the 10 that is the base amount that you get, which means you're now getting 30 health per blood orb. 1 point in Marrow Drinker will make that 60 because it doubles the amount. You now get 60 ward or 60 health, but you only target minions, so for every blood orb that comes back you get 60 health, and with 3 points in Mana Feast you'll get 6 mana as well. And then with 1 point in Hematology, with 116 intellect at 5% per point, we have a 580% increase of that 60 health that we're getting, which means that you're getting almost 400 health per blood orb that you hit your minions with. The more minions you have and the more in a little area, the more that you're going to get. And then with 2 points in Arcane Absorption, 1 point in Rip Spear, and then 1 point in Arcane Fortress, you're converting that health into ward. So for every minion that you hit, you're getting 400 ward per orb with 6 mana back. For Transplant, we have 2 points in Acolyte's Fervor, 3 points in Dance of Blood for that 3 cast of Rip Bloods. This will not work. It will not auto-target your minions for you when it does this. However, if you do Transplant and have that cast, it will still hit like barrels and destructibles. It will hit enemies, so if you have enemies on top of your minions, then you can get some hits and you'll get some ward from it, but it takes a bit of careful gameplay. 2 points in Sadism, 3 points in Pale Blood for all that mana coming back, 2 points in Bone Armor, 3 points in Last Laugh, 1 point in Silmaricum, 1 point in Purgatory, and 3 points in Ivory Court. For Summon Skeletons, and we tried a lot of different skills. We had Golems, we tried Aura of Decay. Aura of Decay won't heal your minions. We ended up going with Skeletons for the Bone Armor. We went with the Warriors, so we have 2 points in Unbound Necromancy, 1 point in Grave Walkers, 2 points in Marrow Tap, 5 points in Necrotic Conviction, 2 points in Unholy Rage, 1 point in Marrow Walkers, 1 point in Hollow Walkers, 1 point in Shambling Steel, and 1 point in Bone Armor, so that you get 40% reduced damage for 4 seconds. Which they will cast on themselves, so they'll always have that, and 4 points on Impatient for 4 more seconds of duration and 120% cooldown, so there'll be 100% uptime of it on your Skeleton Warriors. For passives, we have 20 points in the base Acolyte class, 5 points in Blood Aura, 8 points in Forbidden Knowledge, 1 point in Stolen Vitality, 5 points in Blood Pact, and 1 point in Crimson Gluttony. In the Lich, even though it says 25, we have 28 points. We have 8 points in Crippling Insight, 2 points in Survival of the Cruel, 3 points in Wrathbringer, 6 points in Serrated Bones, 1 point in Hollow Lich, which I would recommend taking this out as we don't do any damage ourselves and we're not running a low life build anymore. Taking this out means you'll do less damage to your overall minions since you'll be hitting them with Root Blood and damaging them. Losing that 500% damage will actually help you, and 8 points in Apocrypha. For the Necromancer, we have 67 points. We have 8 points in Risen Army, 5 points in Grave Thorns, 8 points in Blood Armor, 10 points in Mortal Tether, 1 point in Unbound Necromancy, 5 points in Reclamation of Souls, 3 points in Putrid Retribution, 3 points in Frantic Summons, 5 points in River of Bones, 10 points in Heresy, 1 point in Tyrant, 3 points in Cling to Life, and 4 points in Empty the Graves. For items, the idols that we're running, we have some chance to receive Glancing Blow since we don't have that tapped out. And then we want 100% total chance to summon a Putrid Wrath instead of a Rhaegor Wrath. As these are added percentage, you don't have to be in it on the tree. They do work. We tested it. We have over 100%. We could actually drop this one and put 2 more Glancing Blows because we don't have 100%. We were wearing all of these to get our 100% as it was hard to put in a prefix slot. We went with some suffix slots on it. For gear, the most important thing you're going to want on your gear is 1, minion health regen, and 2, you're going to want some percentage of damage to minions reflected to attackers. It doesn't have to be a lot, you want at least some. On us, we have T3 on this item, and that's only 18%. I believe that taps out at somewhere around 40% if you get a T5, and we also have it on the helm. Now, you want intellect, you want minion health regen, and you want the damage reflected to attackers. After that, you can put anything in the other suffix. We went with increased health, or the item came with that. You don't have to have that. You could easily put dodge or mana or critical strike avoidance. Something else in that slot will work just as well. Down here, the +1 to maximum skeletons for us, so we get 1 extra warrior. However, it's not super needed, so if you have something else that rules in that spot, you can go with it. If you do have that, you only need T1. You don't need it any higher than T1, so don't break your item trying to go for that. You only get +1 maximum skeleton, whether it's T1 or T5. For the jewelry slot right here, we would have Orion's Eye, but we currently have it taken off. We were using it on another character. Orion's Eye, but if you do your own crafted one, I would do minion health regen, add in some dodge, add in some critical strike avoidance, or add in something defensive on that. Don't go with protections because they don't do you any good, as you'll have too much ward for them to take any effect. We are running a one-handed weapon so that we can run a catalyst for more int. This one has +14 int on it. We went with all minion stats and some added mana. For the weapon, we went with just a bunch of minion things. Our weapon here has added health on it because it's from last patch where the mana regen was converted into increased health. Or hybrid health. So that's bugged. You can't. These are old items. You can't have them in the new game. However, it doesn't make the biggest difference. You don't need the health on it. Having higher health doesn't do you any good. We were actually running without a weapon for a while because I forgot I didn't even have one equipped. So you don't even really need it. And then for the rings, we went with the turquoise rings for the added minion damage and minion health. And then on them, minion health regen, intellect, dodge. We did a lot of suffix slots where we did chance to receive a glancing blow. On the belt, you could add chance for glancing blow on this on the bottom as well, as that would help you get to that 100%. We didn't run a whole lot of critical strike avoidance, so you could put something else like dodge there. We don't have super high dodge, but more dodge would be helpful. And that's what we have on all of our items. For the character sheet, as you can see, we have 80% glancing blow, so if you can work it into a couple more spots, that'd be great. We have 116 intelligence. It is possible to get higher if you get like T5 on more items. However, with that 116, we're sitting at almost 500% ward retention. Our minion health is sitting at just over 600%. Our minion health regen, which is the most important, is sitting just over 2200%. This is what's going to allow you to get the most wrath. And for defense stats, we have some critical strike avoidance. Like I said, I would remove that and put like dodge or something else. We only have 2% dodge. If you could get to 60% dodge on this build, you would go farther. You wouldn't take nearly as many hits. And like I said, we have that 1 point to convert Leech into damage, so we're sitting at 500% damage. It really doesn't do us any good. The Wandering Spirits do a little extra damage for it. However, on my next run, I would take that out because I was just doing too much damage with Riplet to my minions. I was hitting them for a couple hundred damage every time, and I was spamming that on them. So to increase their survivability a little bit, I just wouldn't use that as much. I wouldn't want to be able to do any damage. I'd probably change my weapon from a scepter not to do spell damage anymore. I'd probably run a sword or something, but you know, trying to reduce that damage to where you're only hitting them for 5 or 10 gets to a point where are you losing the increased damage because you can't put minion damage over time and minion physical damage on too many things. So you can play around with that. And for the gameplay, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, but right here I'll show you how many Wraths we are capable of getting and how much ward that we can stack up. So I put Transplant on autocast, I put my Wandering Spirits on autocast, I put my Wraths on autocast, and then I will summon some regular warriors here. We will end up getting roughly 90 minions total. It does take a couple of minutes for you to completely build up all of your Wraths to get the full amount. And in combat, if you notice your numbers start to drop, so you'll sit between like 70 and 80 of them. If you start to get down to like 50, that's when I start kiting and moving them so that I can start rebuilding them a bit, as it does take some time. And you can see we have 100% uptime on all these bone armors going, so they're taking 40% reduced armor. Let's see, we're at 63. We should be able to get a little bit higher here. We've got 8 skeleton warriors. I think we can get 9 of them. Just trying to wait on some mana here. This is a lot easier when you wear Orion's Eye, as you'll have 100 more mana. So like every time you transplant, you'll be getting more back. So your mana will actually stay full the entire time. As minions die, you'll start getting Putrid Wraths. Okay, so we got 84 minions. Looks like we're between 77 and 84. We have 9 warriors, 4 of our bloods, so we're sitting at roughly 100 minions there. And then when you use Riplet, so I always use A to control them, and then as you cast Riplet, your mana will instantly come back. You're going to get this massive amount of ward. As you can see, I'm sitting at 50,000, just like that, 60, 80, and we broke 100 already. We have 120, 130, 140, 150. I think we had 160 there for a second, but yeah, as you can see, it's totally possible to just have massive amounts of 160,000 ward. So as you can see, it's pretty broken. Who knows what will happen in 7.9 if it'll be fixed. No one's really pushed this build too hard. Like I said, we made it to 200 waves. At 200, the minions started dying too fast. So I do want to switch some gear around, put some dodge into the build for the minions. I feel like if they had dodge, since these are all Putrid Wraths, they can attack from range. So keeping them ranged and keeping them alive would be the best bet. So maybe reducing a couple of the health ones to minion dodge and giving them, get them 1,000 minion dodge to where they're dodging 60 or 70% of the time, and their survivability becomes twofold. With that, let's go ahead and give you guys some gameplay of the run.